Coast. The Stephen A. Smith Show starts right now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio and ESPN News, 250 plus markets across the United States of America. Check your AM, FM listing nearest you, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM, Channel 80, plus ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airwaves of ESPN News. Number to call up, as always, is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Lots of stuff to get into, so let's get right to it. Time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. You know, we got a lot of stuff to get into today. More Antonio Brown stuff, Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, new head coach for the Green Bay Packers. That stuff is resonating. Of course, there's some other issues that's percolating as well. Jay-Z and the NFL collaborating. Colin Kaepernick still unemployed. You got to wonder about that just a little bit, and we'll talk about that as the show progresses because there's still people that will talk about that. I got some stuff to say about that so-called Rich Paul rule that was but is no longer, because the NCAA is no longer requiring agents to have 4-year degrees in order to represent student athletes and what have you. All of those things are things that we're going to get into because I got some things to say about that. But what I got on my mind for the immediate moment is the New York Giants. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Giants, if you are a New York Giant fan, it might be in your best interest to turn the channel from this show. If you are a New York Giant fan and you love yourself some John Mara, it might be an issue. It might be an issue for you to listen to this show because I can't believe what I heard this man say, owner for the New York Giants, supposedly a gold standard, supposedly a first-class organization. Listen to what John Mara had to say in regards to Eli Manning being the quarterback for the New York Giants for the duration of the 2019 season, even if it means Daniel Jones not playing a single snap for the New York Giants in favor of the 38-year-old quarterback that is Eli Manning, who's going to be 39 in January, who, by the way, has looked 59 on far too many occasions to count. This is John Mara speaking about the New York Giants quarterback situation. Take it away.
I hope Eli has a great year and Daniel never sees the field. I mean, that would be in an ideal world. You'd like to see that. But again, it's at the end of the day, it's going to be a decision by the head coach as to when, or if Daniel ends up playing this year.
If Daniel doesn't play one snap as a rookie, you'd be okay with that?
I'd be very happy about that because it means that we're having a great year and Eli's having a great year.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? He'd be very, very happy if Daniel Jones, the number 6 overall pick in this past NFL draft, didn't play a single snap. You see, it's stuff like this that really, really gets to me because clearly this doesn't have much to do with football. That has to do with Eli Manning, who is class personified. Eli Manning, who is a good dude, a consummate professional, never any drama whatsoever. Plus, he happens to be a 2-time Super Bowl champion. That Eli Manning. We understand the affection, the adulation, the respect for him as a man, etc., etc. But this is the problem. We're supposed to be living in a world where sports is a meritocracy. We're supposed to be living in a world where results matter. We're supposed to be living in a world where you know what you do actually counts for something. And what you don't do damn sure counts for something, particularly when it's applicable to everybody else. But when it comes to Eli Manning, oh no, we can't do that. We can't do that. For the record, let's be very, very clear about a couple of things. Let's just get it out of our system. The New York Giants have missed the playoffs 5 times in the last 6 years. The New York Giants have missed the playoffs 5 times in the last 6 years. They've missed it 7 times in the last 9 years. Now, one of those years that they did make the playoffs, one of those 2 years, 2011, they won their second Super Bowl with Eli Manning, beating the New England Patriots yet again. But after that, they missed the playoffs 4 straight years before going to the playoffs in 2016 and then missing it last year, 2017 and then last year. So they've missed the playoffs pretty much 6 times in the last 7 years. And 8 times in the last 10. And this man is talking about how he'd be ecstatic if Daniel Jones didn't see it down because that means Eli Manning is playing well. Let me tell you something. It's a problem. Eli Manning clearly is not the same player that he used to be. We're not excoriating this man. We're not trying to disrespect him. We're simply saying father time, attrition, and anything else that you want to point to has caught up. How many concessions are you going to make? Yeah, the GM that didn't mind letting McAdoo bench Eli Manning for 1 game, the only game he's missed in the last 13 years. You got rid of them. Before that, you got rid of Coughlin. After that, you drafted Will Hernandez. You signed Nate Solder to a mega deal. You drafted Saquon Barkley. How many things have you done to try and make life easier for Eli Manning and still got subpar results? What the hell is the problem? What the hell is the problem? You can't wake up and see that the end is near? Eli Manning is approaching a contract year. Eli Manning doesn't want to retire. Eli Manning wants to stick around. And John Mara basically said if we have our druthers, Eli Manning would be around for years to come. Years to come. And you're a Giants fan and you think you have a reason to be excited? You really think that? They're going to ride Saquon Barkley until the wheels come off. They're going to ride this brother into the ground. They are going to shorten his years in the NFL by dog years practically. They're going to run him into the ground until the wheels come off. It's going to be similar to what Dallas did with DeMarco Murray years ago. Gave him the ball 392 times and then told him to go kick rocks. He had to become a Philadelphia Eagle in order to stay in the league. That didn't work out before he ended up in Tennessee. But we all know this is what they do to running backs. What do you think they're going to do to Barkley? But he's only in his 2nd year. He's got tree trunks for legs. He's a model citizen. You also got rid of OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. for Eli. Acquired Zeitler to put him on your offensive line as well. At your right guard spot. I mean, what are you doing? How much have you not done for Eli Manning? And we're having this conversation. This is ridiculous. But it goes a little bit deeper because for me, you know me, y'all know how I roll. It ain't just about football. Here's the question. Would you do this for anybody else? Would you do this for anybody else? 38 years of age, skills have clearly dissipated, production clearly isn't there the way it used to be. Would you have done this for anybody else? Would you have this attitude for anybody else? Would you make these kind of concessions for anybody else? Hell, you probably drafted Daniel Jones because of Eli Manning. Because of their relationship, he wouldn't mind waiting a bit longer than somebody else would mind waiting. And that had a lot to do with you electing him. So much so that after one preseason game, y'all trying to clear the path, acting like this brother should be a starter now. And he's so special. This is so bad on so many levels. It really is. Because you clearly have an ownership that doesn't want to let go. You have an ownership that wants to hold on to Eli Manning for dear life, absolutely positively knowing that he doesn't have it anymore. But y'all perfectly fine with that. Perfectly fine. 888-729-3776. That's 888-SAY-ESPN. That is the number to call into the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. And I take no pleasure or joy in saying what I just said. I like Eli Manning. I often told a story about how I was filling in for Michael Kay, and he was a guest on a Michael Kay show. There was no publicist on the line or anybody else calling for him. Eli Manning called himself 5 minutes earlier and stood on hold and waited. He's big on responsibility. He's big on honoring commitments. He's big on being a professional. He's big on all of these things. It's a special quality to have. And all the money that he's gotten over the years, he deserves most of it, if not all of it. Nobody's trying to rain on a parade that is Eli Manning. We know what a good dude he is. We get it. We really, really do. But I got to tell you, to see the concessions thrown in his direction by John Mara reminds me of the privileged few that still lives in our society. Everybody ain't getting that kind of treatment. There's a whole bunch of people that would be consummate professionals that would act right and what have you. Tom Brady ain't even getting that kind of treatment from Bill Belichick. Went to 3 straight Super Bowls. Won 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. Bill Belichick wouldn't even give him a multi-year deal. Yeah, you can go ahead and be a free agent at the end of the season if you want to. It's okay. We'll be all right. Prior to that, before he became porn star Jimmy Garoppolo was a backup in New England, starving for his opportunity. Bill Belichick wanted to get rid of Tom Brady just to put Jimmy Garoppolo up in there. You can't make this stuff up. Tom Brady, consummate professional, personification of a company man, saying all the right things, doing all the right things the right way in their eyes, being incredibly appreciative and supportive of the ownership with Mr. Kraft and his son, Jonathan. And still, he's at the mercy of Bill Belichick. Yeah, we'll give you a 1-year deal, basically. But Eli Manning, he just keeps trucking along, able to survive, rather, for an elongated period of time. I got to tell you something. It's a problem. Somebody needs to say something. Somebody needs to be honest about it. We just need to do that. It's just that simple. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Let's go to another subject. Because Andrew Luck is another matter. There's a lot of people out there in complete panic mode. Remember, he missed part of a football season 3 years ago because of a lacerated kidney. Missed all of 2017 because of a torn labrum. Was on suicide watch for years leading up to those injuries because Grigson, the general manager for the Indianapolis Colts at the time, never had the decency to get him an offensive line, and Pagano just wasn't good enough as a coach, even though he's a good man, nice man, wasn't good enough as a coach to really get him away from some of those doldrums. Here's the reality of the situation. As of right now, because of a calf injury sustained in April, supposedly, Andrew Luck has only practiced 3 times since April. No OTAs, no training camp practices. Everybody's looking at him now. They're wondering, they're questioning. Folks are very, very worried about him. I got it. I understand it. I'm not that worried. I wish I could tell you I was that worried, but I'm not. Because I got to tell you something. I believe in Andrew Luck. And I understand that he's been a bit fragile or whatever. Here's what I will remind you of. I got some belief in Andrew Luck's talent, but I damn sure believe in Frank Reich as a coach, and I definitely believe in Chris Ballard as general manager. You see that offensive line he gave Andrew Luck last year? Do y'all know that Andrew Luck, his first season back after missing the entire previous campaign in 2017, do y'all know that Andrew Luck went 5 straight games without suffering 1 sack? This is after the dude was getting sacked above 45 times a year and hit more than 100. This offensive line, led by this dude, Quentin Nelson, monsters. Monsters. They don't play. And they protect their man, Andrew Luck. So you got that going on. Also, T.Y. Hilton's still there last time I checked. You did acquire Devin Funchess in the offseason, who used to be in Carolina. He's a big target. This kid, Paris Campbell, a rookie. Everybody's been raving about this kid out of Ohio State and what a speedster he is and what kind of damage he could ultimately do. That's a plus. You got a familiar tight end in Jack Doyle that's back in the mix after he was injured part of last year. Eric Ebron, we know he could ball. And oh, by the way, Marlon Mack can run the football too because he's got an offensive line that knows how to block. I got news for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. If Andrew Luck is somewhat healthy, the Indianapolis Colts are a Super Bowl contender. I don't give a damn what you saw in the playoffs against Kansas City last year in that storm, in that snowstorm. Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts are a team to be reckoned with. Kansas City is too now, especially even though their defense isn't much to be desired, but they're definitely a team to be reckoned with. Pittsburgh, I'm not ignoring them. I think they're going to have a better year this year than they did last year. We can't ignore the Browns. God forbid we do that with the roster changes and makeover they've had. With OBJ and Nick Chubb still there, and Kareem Hunt coming, and Jarvis Landry still there, and Njoku still there, and that offensive line hell-bent on protecting Baker Mayfield, who's supposed to be the second coming of Joe Montana. If you listen to some of you Cleveland Browns fans out there, oh my God, stop the presses, stop the presses. And then you got to look at the AFC South. With Indy, with Houston, with Tennessee, with Jacksonville. It's up for grabs. But I think Indy is right there. So all I'm saying to you is that I believe Andrew Luck is not healthy. I got it. But I believe if he needed to play, he could. And whether he's ready for week 1 or not, I think he'll be ready when it counts. And I'm going to place my faith in him. I'm not going to be as worried about him as other people are. I understand durability is a question mark. I understand his history. I get it. But this is a new day in Indy. And Chris Ballard thus far has done a hell of a job. And I would tell you, I really, really believe Indianapolis could make some noise. Everything starts and finishes with Andrew Luck. I know that. But I'm just telling you, I think they got a chance. Man threw for over 4,500 yards last year. Second in the league with 39 touchdowns. I believe in Andrew Luck. I really, really do. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. In regards to the Jay-Z collaboration with the National Football League, I will tell you that I'm not as skeptical about it as most, at least on the part of Jay-Z. I think that Jay-Z is going to use the muscular arms of the National Football League to implement change as it pertains to their approach towards social justice issues and beyond. I definitely think that the NFL is co-opting the issue to some degree, covering their own you-know-what. I got it, but it's still smart business on their part. Here's the only thing that I would say. That, combined with even the president of the United States saying he has no problem with Colin Kaepernick playing in the National Football League so long as he can still play. What's the problem with Colin Kaepernick getting the tryout with an NFL team? Want me to tell you what the answer is, ladies and gentlemen? You want me to tell you what the problem is? You all are the problem. It's y'all. Because y'all have given the impression to the American public, to NFL teams, that you will not support their brand if they were to give Colin Kaepernick a tryout or have him on their roster. You won't patronize their product. Individual owners will lose money. And their attitude is that Colin Kaepernick isn't worth it. That's what's going on here. We all know what time it is. We know what you're doing. So it's going to be real interesting to see whether or not that's something that Jay-Z is going to try to implement and whether or not he's going to challenge the owners to at least give a tryout to Colin Kaepernick. I promise you it'll be covered. We'll see. We'll know. But we all know it's not going to happen. Because the NFL is not going to put themselves in a position where they believe their bottom line is remotely jeopardized. I hope I'm wrong. But I think it's safe to say the career of Colin Kaepernick is over. That's just my thought. What's yours? 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. That was Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less. Only at Walmart. By the way, do you have frequent heartburn? Like the kind where you have antacids stashed everywhere in case it pops up? You know what I mean. You keep some in your bag or your desk or your car or your nightstand. You have those chalky tablets ready for whenever and wherever heartburn strikes. Well, listen up. There's an easier way to deal with your heartburn. That's Prilosec OTC. Just one pill a day will last a full 24 hours with zero heartburn. So kick your antacid habit. It's possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Your radio, your computer, your phone. Or just tell your smart speaker to play ESPN Radio.
Now playing ESPN Radio.
Take ESPN everywhere.